2 years, same snowboard bindings, same hardware, ridden them in all sorts of conditions. I've taken them to Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, West Virginia, my local resort, had them on every snowboard in my quiver. Let's talk about them. How do they do? How they hold up? Should you get a Klue? 2 snowboard seasons. I wanted to give my thoughts and opinions on the Klue snowboard bindings. Are they worth it? Should you spend your money on it? And I want to go through how these bindings have held up through all my use and abuse that I've put them through. Although I love doing content creation, I love making these videos, this is something I do on the side. I work 50, 60 hours a week sometimes just to be able to do all the snowboard related things that I am able to do, and I'm super blessed to be able to have those opportunities. I also work just to support my wife, my son, take care of my family, so I understand the hard-earned value of a dollar. I work hard for everything I have. So I wouldn't recommend a product that I don't fully trust, wholeheartedly believe in, and something that I would use myself day in and day out. So I definitely understand somebody who wants to make sure they're getting a quality product before they spend their hard-earned money on that thing. So as I go through this review, I want to be fully open, honest, and transparent about my relationship with Klue, how it all started, how these bindings have done, and I will give everything I can think of in my head to cover these bindings so you can to help you make the best possible decision if you are somebody out there who's looking at picking up a set of the Klue snowboard bindings. I also do think it is important that when you are looking at picking up a particular product, watch multiple reviews on it. Don't just take my word for it. Don't just take somebody else's word for it. Watch a whole bunch of different opinions. That's what I do. I always watch a variety of videos. I take all that information and form my own opinion before I do make that purchase. All snowboarders are going to have different preferences, different needs, different wants, different things they want out of a binding. And so everybody's different. Definitely take that into account when you're watching this video. Oh, a lot of this is information that I have disclosed before on this channel. My channel's grown substantially since I've done my 1-year review of these bindings. So it's just stuff I want to touch on again and cover and make sure everybody knows we're kind of on the same page. I grew up a skier till I was 26, and in 2019 I started snowboarding, and I was immediately hooked once I got it to click and once I got those first couple S-turns in. From 2019 to 2022, I rode a huge variety of different bindings, different companies, different boards, all sorts of stuff between my boards, my buddy's stuff. We were swapping gear out, just seeing, what was what. So in 2022, when Klue reached out to me, my channel was tiny. I had a couple product reviews, some travel things, and they reached out and asked if I wanted to test the Klue bindings. Now, just to be clear, that was all that was asked. They said, hey, do you want to test these bindings? To which I was like, heck yeah. I had been asked a couple questions about how I thought the Klue compared to the Burton Step-Ons that I was running at the time. And I had seen the Klue, I looked at the Klue, but I had just spent all this money on the Burton Step-Ons, and I couldn't afford to buy multiple bindings, all the time. So I didn't think I was actually going to get to test them. So when they reached out to ask if I could test them, I was super pumped just to be able to compare and contrast and help answer people's questions that I had been getting. Just to be clear, that was all that was asked. Do I want to test these bindings? No contracts, no obligations. Nobody told me what I could or couldn't say. None of that. They just said, hey, we'll send you a pair if you want to test them. So yeah, I got these bindings in March of 2022. And since then, anytime I have been on snow, it has been on these bindings, other than like a couple laps riding my buddies' boards, letting them test these out, various things like that. These have been the only bindings. So from March, and it was up until January of 2023, I had just gotten back from my week of snowboarding in Utah. I sent Klue another email and I said, hey, would it be possible to get some sort of affiliate code or affiliate link? Because I love these bindings. I'm going to be promoting them anyway. I've already been recommending them. I'm making videos on them. I would love to support this company because I really like this product. I like using it. And overall, I was just super pumped on how they rode, the comfort, everything that kind of came with these bindings, I loved. And so just to be clear, I reached out to them to say, hey, can I get an affiliate link? Help show my support for them as well as help the channel, because anything that I do get for this channel, I put right back into the channel to continue to be able to do the things that I do. And with affiliate sales, that doesn't tie you to a particular brand. That doesn't make you on a contract or obligated to one company. Affiliate links to all of my gear linked down in all my videos because it's gear that I'm running, I use, and I believe in. And if it's stuff I'm going to be using anyway, people always ask, oh, can I get a link to this, a link to that? I already have that all linked down below, and it's going to help the channel out because as a small-time content creator, every little bit helps, every little bit adds up. So affiliate links, if you're somebody out there who's looking to get into content creation, affiliate links they're going to help you out. So again, even with that affiliate code, with those affiliate links, Klue has never once said, hey, will you make this video? Or don't say this, don't say that. They've never given me any sort of guidelines. And I'm choosing freely to ride these bindings. I have been for 2 years. And at any point, I could go ride another binding or I could go buy another binding, but I don't, because these have delivered to me the riding experience that I want, and I'm happy with them. I have, after 2 years of use, I have no complaints about how these bindings ride. I've taken them in deep powder days in Colorado and Utah. I've ridden them in slush, I've ridden them in ice, and these bindings have never disappointed me, so I have no desire to ride anything else for the foreseeable future. I love these bindings. And I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but in the future, if it was something to happen, if Clue was to ever approach me for a full-blown brand deal, I would be super pumped about that, because again, as a content creator, you earn money through AdSense, you can do affiliate links, and brand deals, if you really want to make it full-time one day, brand deals are what helps you. They're your sponsorships. They're going to back your channel and give you support. And I don't think it's wrong to take a sponsorship or a brand deal if something like that was to come up, because for content creators, influencers, athletes, you name it, that's how you do it. You know, that's how you're able to support yourself to make it a living. At the time of posting this, I am not a sponsored rider. I earn affiliate commission, and that's it. If I ever was a sponsored rider, I would definitely disclose that. But again, I don't think that's wrong if it's a product you firmly believe in, something you're already using already, and you can stand up and say, yeah, I'd use this regardless of sponsorship or not. And that's how I am with these bindings. I love them, hands down, and I can't say enough good things about them. So again, just to be clear, the time of posting this, I am not sponsored. I choose to use these awesome bindings. So at the end of this video, if you are still interested in picking up a pair of Clues, I do have a promo code and an affiliate link down below. Again, it does help support me as well as saving you some money if you are looking at picking up a set of these bindings. All right, let's go through these bindings piece by piece, and I'll tell you what I think. Actually, before we go through the bindings, I just want to talk about one thing. So when I first got the Clue bindings, one thing I was afraid of was I had heard in one review that where the whole bottom is plastic, that it would wear on your top sheet a little bit quicker. I just want to clarify, I've used it on all 3 of my boards. My Battalion Party Wave, I've had these on the most, and I haven't seen any additional I can get why people would think that because it is plastic on wood, but so far, out of the 2 years, and even me switching my original pair across my boards multiple times, I have yet to see any sort of additional wear or tear. My top sheets all still look good, and I'll include photos, or I'll include videos of all of my top sheets just so you can see there's truth in what I'm saying. All right, let's talk about the bindings. Before I get fully into the bindings, I do just want to show I have my original binding set here. These are the same ones I've been running for 2 years. And I also this year actually picked up a second base set. This is the newer base set. So I did just want to show, as you can clearly see, there's a couple differences. So Season Clue is making some adjustments, some improvements. I think the first thing I noticed is it seems like on the new base set, they've gone with a slightly softer foam, as well as I think it's a little bit thicker. It just feels like it has more squish to it. Well as on the toe strap, my original Clue set was toolless, and they've gone back to a screw. I don't know the reasoning behind it, but I did just want to show there are some differences between the two. Also, if you look down here at the bottom, this is the original set where the foam's a little bit thinner, and then it goes into plastic down here. On this new set, you've got foam going all the way down to help improve the dampening, help reduce the chatter, the vibration. So Clue is taking some feedback and adjusting the bindings year by year. Again, I've had these since 2022. This is a new version for 2023, 2024. Let's talk adjustability. On these bindings, you have several different points of adjustment. You've got your high back lean in the back. You loosen this, slide it up and down. It's going to increase or decrease the high back lean. On the straps, both the new and old, you're going to loosen this. Adjustability, you'll be able to move your ankle strap. You've got one to adjust the toe strap. The bottom of these bindings, and I don't think it's something that anybody else has touched on, you can actually pop your strap out here and move it. You have this little red cog, and you can move this forward or backward to adjust exactly where you want your toe strap to sit. And what this little red cog does is it's got little teeth on it, and that's basically what helps you sliding your foot in and out of these bindings. It helps keep that toe strap in a fixed position to keep it from wiggling around, being loose on you. That red piece, the only time I've ever had it fall out was when I very first got the bindings, and they were in the box, and I hadn't popped that strap up into that groove yet. If you do lose this, it would put you in a bit of a sticky situation, but I have yet to be in a situation where it just randomly falls out when I'm adjusting the bindings. And like I said, I've only had it fall out when it was in the box when they were brand new before, that I slid that strap up into that groove. So you got two different positions to adjust where that toe strap is going to sit. Another point of adjustment is you're going to pop these open, and you've got all these little grooves, able to slide your gas pedal forwards or backwards and adjust it to the curvature of your boot. So to me, the only thing you can't really adjust on these is the heel cup. Everything else is fully adjustable, and you're able to customize the fit just how you want it. I also just want to show again on these straps, you have all this room of adjustability on your ankle strap, and then all this room on your toe strap. You've got a ton of room to adjust these however you want. I'm going to hate myself for doing this because I have these perfectly set up, but let me just show you. Again, I want to be thorough. Here, all the way to here. I mean, you can see that amount of adjustability right there. That's a ton of adjustability. To be full-blown thorough, you got 4 inches to slide that ankle strap in and out up there, and on your toe strap, almost another full 4 inches of adjustability. On the newer models, you do have holes for adjustability, and it does shrink down a little bit, but you still have almost the same amount. It's just split up into different size increments. So older models, you have a full range of adjustability. On the new one, they're more fixed positions, assuming the high back strap on the new high backs is the same way. You still have about 3 inches of adjustability. So it has shrunk a little bit on the new models, but things fit a wide range of boot sizes, so that's still going to give you a lot within that to be able to tweak it. Also, just touching on the base point of these newer models, where they do have the screws, it does take a screw to adjust it on the toe strap, the ankle strap, or on the high back. I have never been in a particular, as long as you can find any Phillips screwdriver, you're pretty much going to be good. Every ski resort I've ever been to has one of those tool stands that has screwdrivers that are free to use. I also always ride with a Burton multi-tool in my backpack if I do need to make any adjustments. But the screws on these, as well as the ones that go into the discs, any random Phillips screwdriver is going to work as long as it's not super fat. I've never found myself asking for, oh, I need this specific size screwdriver to get it adjusted. Every one that I've randomly grabbed out of a drawer has always done the job. And on both the toe straps on the new model, as well as the toe and ankle straps on my original set, once I've adjusted them, I've never had to tweak them again. I got that adjustment set. They've never stretched, never warped, anything like that. These are, your classic heat molded ankle straps. And I think overall, they're really comfortable. I've never had them hurt my feet. I've never felt any pain or discomfort. There's been multiple times on these bindings that I've done like 5-6 days in a row, nonstop snowboarding, and the straps never bother my feet. Same for the toe strap. I think it's really comfortable. It does a great job staying in place. Once I get it set for that initial run, once I step in, I've never had it wiggle, come loose, or have to tweak it. It is set for the day. On that same note, while I am talking about comfort, as far as the foam padding in these, are these the most damp bindings I've ever ridden? Well, no, but I think they do a really good job. They give you a lively board feel where I'm able to feel a little bit underneath, a bit under my feet. But again, I've never had that chatter, bumpiness, anything like that feel like it was, holding me back or disrupting my ride for the day. And like I mentioned earlier, it is a softer padding on these newer ones, and I think it does an even better job. These are the ones I ran on my Nidecker Beta on my recent trip to Colorado, and these are super, super comfortable. Just so you can see, it is plastic right there, but you've got the padding here. And then on the other one here, they have thickened the padding up. There is no plastic on the bottom. This is straight padded material. So yeah, there is a little bit more dampening in the new models. Clue is listening to the people. As far as the ratchets go, they've done really well for me. On a typical day, I'll ratchet my bindings up, and then I'm using the step-in, step-out mechanism. Now, on a powder day, I think I've had in total 7 or 8 powder days on these. I will use the ratchets because on a deep powder day, I think it is just easier to use the traditional straps. But that's what I love about these bindings, is that you get the best of both worlds. You have the step-in speed when you need it, and then you have the straps on a powder day when you need that strap performance. I've never had these ratchets bind up, lock up on me, anything like that. Even in really icy conditions, I'll just kind of give it like a flick, and it goes back to working like normal. These do have locking mechanisms on them if you want to lock them in place, but honestly, I have never used them ever. I think the straps stay in place perfectly fine without them, and I've never felt the need to use them. Let's talk about how exactly the Clue works. So on the Klue, when you click your high back in, you have these two metal cleats right here. It is a two-stage locking system. Now, there have been times on those deep powder days before I, just started running the straps, I could only get this first click, and I have ridden like that. I didn't come out, but typically you want to go for that second click. So once you get under there, you have a fail-safe system. If for some reason it was to slide loose, it's going to catch back up on this first one before you would come out. But I have never, in my 2 years of use, I've never felt these things disengage. I've never had them pop out. I've never had them malfunction. You got two giant metal cleats on both sides. When you pull that red release lever, it's going to bring that hook in, make it disengage. And the great thing about these is, and I've showed it in other videos, that if you don't have your heel weighted on the base plate, when you pull that red lever, it's not going to release. So that way there's no, if it snags on something, or you're in a scenario where it randomly gets pulled and you're not expecting it, your snowboard's not going to fall off. Your weight has to be down on the heel to allow that hook to disengage. That's a safety feature for that very reason, so your board just doesn't fall off and go flying down the hill. I did just want to show, after 2 years of use, still have tons of rubber padding on the bottom. It's a little scraped up on the sides, but I mean, for 2 years, I don't think that's bad at all. There's one of them. There's the other one. Again, still tons of rubber left. They don't really look that worn at all. They're a little dirty maybe. They need to be wiped off, but other than that, not bad. Same thing you can see on my high backs. Still for the most part looking new. Now right here and right there, that is from a chairlift we have at our local resort that sits insanely low. It's known to pinch your calves. So if the snow's not under it right, it sits super low to the ground, and it caught that high back as well as it caught this one. Every one of my buddies has marks on their high backs from that chair. Luckily, they pulled that chair out and replaced it with a whole new lift this season. As far as the levers go, they still work. The springs feel just as solid as day one, and I haven't felt like they're coming loose or getting any harder, easier to pull. They still function just the same as day one. And to get those bindings to release, you literally just pull it any way you want. You can pull over here, pull over here. I just normally grab right through the middle and pull, but it will release as long as your weight is on that heel, like I mentioned. All right, these two discs are my original disc. These are the ones from the new base set. Again, nothing's warped. They're all still the same. New ones, no wiggling, no wiggling. Everything's good. Only other real sign of wear I can see on these, honestly, is like on the bases themselves. That right there is from me just hitting my foot on it over and over again. This is on the one that would be in the rear for me. The inside, everything still looks, I'll hold it up in the light so you can see it better. The inside, everything still looks solid. Just some rubbing, but nothing crazy. Again, that's all for me. On this one, it still looks pretty much brand new, aside from one little scratch right there. Like, everything has held up really, really nicely. You do have this tiny gap under the heel between the base and the part that actually clips onto your boot. What this is for is to allow for a little bit of snow clearance and a little bit of snow buildup. That way, if you are riding and there is some fresh snow, you're still going to be able to get in without it getting jammed. It doesn't feel like it rides any different that way to me, and like everything I've ever done on any other binding, I can pull that all off just as easy, just the same as any other binding that I've used. Here's my 8 original screws that came with my bindings. Still perfectly fine. Don't look stripped. Still tons of Loctite on them. And I've swapped these out. Like I said, before I had the second base set this year, I was switching bindings, between boards almost every day, and they all still look perfectly fine. I don't think there is anything else that I can really go through or show you on these bindings. I think I was pretty thorough. If there's something I missed, definitely let me know. Comment below. I'll make a short or something and go back and make sure I do cover that. But I think I went through like everything that this binding has. I've had no issues with it. The only time anybody I've chatted with in the comments that I've had, like, I run my high back about halfway forward leaned, and I'm able to get in super smooth in and out every time. The only time I've had people in the comments say that they had any trouble really getting those cleats to engage was people that do run it in a little bit more of an aggressive stance once you put a little bit more forward lean. And from what they told me is they're still able to get those, and I'll link the comment up here again to show I'm not just making this up off the top of my head. They said they're able to get those first clicks. They'll get the toe in, get the first click, but they have trouble getting the second click because they do run it at a more aggressive lean. But they said typically what they'll do is they'll just hop on their heel and they're still able to lock in and get that click. Like I said, I use the step in, step out mechanism on any regular, normal run of the mill day. And then the only time I will use the straps instead of using the release lever is on powder days, because when you just have that much snow, it's just easier to use those traditional straps. Clue first had their idea in 2017, first prototype in 2019, and I believe they first started having production models in 2020, and then they became a whole lot more mainstream in 2021. And even just looking at my two bases, like I said, I have the original Highbacks. I don't have the newer version of Highback, so now I am curious what all has changed on it as well. But you can see they're making some improvements. They're changing the padding. They're changing the way the straps are. They're changing from toolless to a screw. Maybe it is a bigger screw, so I'm assuming it's something that's a little more durable. They are taking into account riders' feedback. They are testing and they are tweaking and improving the products year after year. So, they haven't been around as long as some of these other companies, but they are listening. They are improving. And I think year after year, they're just going to continue to get better. So for me, as a whole, 2 years in, I still love these bindings. I have no intention of switching. They deliver and do everything I need them to do. They are a stiffer binding. They're super responsive. I've had some of the best days of snowboarding, the best powder tree runs. The snowboarding of my life has been the last 2 years, and it's all been done on these bindings. So I've got no desire to change or run anything else. Again, I'm not making this video because I'm paid. This is not a sponsored or paid video. I just genuinely love how these bindings ride, how these bindings perform. I think it's important for people to see long-term reviews of how a product is holding up. I did the same thing when I was running the Burton step-ons. I made a 2-year step-on video just to show wear and tear, and your thoughts are going to change potentially depending on the longevity that you use a product, that it starts to break down. But so far, these haven't broken down one bit for me, and I love them. I love the bindings, the company. I'm super, super pumped on them and happy. Do they come with a higher price tag? Yes, but I think in terms of the step-on, step-in binding market, that it's very comparable, because if you look at, with the Burtons, you have to buy the step-on binding and then you have to buy the Burton step-on boot. With the Nidecker Supermatics, they do have the traditional straps, but I think both of them have that locking mechanism on there, and they have something that looks like it's not quite as easy. I haven't used them yet, so I can't honestly say, but it looks like the straps don't function quite like traditional straps. They're also about a pound heavier than the Clue. And I think especially too, if you're somebody that runs multiple bindings across your boards, it's going to save you money to buy the binding, and then you're able to pick up those additional base plates for $200, which is cheaper than buying, multiple step-on bindings for each and every board. So yeah, that initial investment can seem high, but again, if you really look at the big picture, I think that's a solid and fair price for what you get. And I have a buddy that's picked them up and he learned to snowboard in them. He loves them. Anytime I've seen somebody out on the mountain and asked them, they've been super pumped on them. And anytime somebody comes and asks me about them while I'm in the lift line, it's always a very positive interaction, and they think it's really cool. So 2 years in, no gripes, no complaints. If you do have any questions about these bindings, definitely hit me up in the comments below. I do my best to respond to every single comment. Again, if you are interested in these bindings, I do have them linked down below for promo code. If not, that's cool. If you don't want to use my link, that's totally fine. It's up to you, but it's there if you want it. Thank you guys for checking this out. I hope you found it super helpful. I hope you're having a fantastic snow season. I hope you all are getting powder days at some point this snowboard season. I got a lot of great stuff still coming. We'll see you in the next one soon.